What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream, my good people. Pattern Mutator is underrated. Here is why. But before we get to that, it's been a minute, y'all. It's been a minute since I've actually been able to get onto a live stream. And so we're going to be live streaming tonight, and I'm excited about that. Okay, we got the camera working, we got the lights on, we got the mic ready, we got Reason ready, we got everything ready for you guys for this live stream. So I hope that you guys are ready to tune in and get some information, get some music production information, specifically Reason 12, and today specifically players, one being Pattern Mutator. So recently I was able to sit down and just work on some beats, and I actually went through and I exported all of the beats that I have made from January till today that I had not exported and were just sitting on my folder, sitting in my hard drive, just collecting dust there in the graveyard, dying. I actually got a chance to export them and get them to proper categories, proper categorization. And so with that, I actually opened up in my mind and in my creativity something that was there that was missing, because I was so clouded and just so cluttered, because I knew that it's now July and I know that every month I've made beats and I've done live streams, and I know that they're not exported. I know they haven't been uploaded, published. They've just been sitting there, y'all. So I had to do something about that before I could make anything new. And I'm telling you, pretty much for the month of July, I've had nothing new coming from my brain. I've not been inspired, as they say. But really what it was a block. It was a block in my creativity, because I knew that I had all this other stuff that I had not, exported, finished, mixed, all those things. So I took some time, exported that stuff out, got that all finished. Super excited about that, man. Super excited about that. So with that, what happened was, because I actually got uncluttered with all of that stuff that was cluttering my mind and my computer, because I got uncluttered, then the creativity started to flow. So as the creativity started to flow, I checked out Pattern Mutator one more time. And you know what? This time, I think I cracked the code. I think I learned the lesson. I think I cracked the code. And it's going to be one of the reasons why I feel like it's underrated or underused, or maybe even just for me, but maybe for other people. I don't know. You guys tell me. Right now, our poll says chord sequencer is the #1 that people are choosing out of the options that I gave. So we're going to be looking at Pattern Mutator today. So I was able to create this track, and I was able to get some really cool drum fills and alternate takes because of Pattern Mutator. So I was really excited about that. But before we get into our track, I want to say what's up to my good people. And of course, if you are watching, I want you to be talking to us in the chat. One thing that I always appreciated about my live streams was the times where I would be cooking up beats or doing my own thing, and I would look at the chat, and the chat just has this whole conversation about green eggs and ham that I had no idea was happening. I love that. I love that for you guys, because it's a community. It's not really an audience that's just here to watch me. We all come together. We share our ideas. You give me input into my beats, the mixing, the creativity, all of those great things. I give you guys feedback with the questions that you have. So it's a community. So if you're here, I want you to speak, man. I don't want you to just lurk and just be a fly on the wall. Let us know that you're here at the very least. Say what's up. We're going to welcome you into the stream at this time. So Ivan, yes, it is going off. Okay, I'm looking okay, hold on. Come on, computer. Don't be weird. Don't be weird, computer. Come on. Don't be weird. All right. Ivan Velez is here in the stream. Just wanted to make sure that my sound effects is working. Willie Jackson Jr. as well is here in the stream, and Aaron Gadsden is here in the stream. But I know that there's some more people watching. I know y'all just being shy. Y'all being shy up in here, but it's okay. But please, we want to know that you're here, and we want to recognize you as well. I'm gonna get into this track right now. Okay, we're gonna get into this track right now. so that you guys can check this out that I made, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Pattern Mutator. I'm going to show you guys some of the things that I did with Pattern Mutator in order to get these different drum patterns and drum fills, and maybe look at some other things and some other techniques, some other tips of how you can use Pattern Mutator. I mean, it's just something interesting. All DAWs are really cool, and every DAW has their own benefit and their own thing that makes them cool, and Reason has players. And I know that there's VSTs that operate like players, but Reason creating these players is game changers, okay? So it's definitely something Reason specific with the players, Pattern Mutator, chord sequencer, polystep sequencer, drum sequencer. They all work together in their own way. They can work together, bassline generator. They can CV, you know, connect cabling with each other in order to do some really cool things. Of course, with chord sequencer, we can't forget scales and chords. Willie Jackson Jr. says players for the players, if you know what I mean.
You have now completed
if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. So yes, so we're going to be looking at those different things with Pattern Mutator. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's get into the track. Here we are. All right. So that is the track that we created using Pattern Mutator. And now I'm going to show you guys how you can get some of those drum fills in Pattern Mutator. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I'm going to tell you that some of that stuff you're not going to get from Pattern Mutator, okay? Some of that stuff you're not going to get from Pattern Mutator. Some of that stuff was hand played, so some of those things you're not necessarily going to get from Pattern Mutator, but for the most part, you can really get some really cool stuff. Okay, so we're going to be checking out Pattern Mutator. Okay, let me just put this in here real quick so that we can have that, so that this little space that I created is not just So blank. All right, let's get into it. Okay, and then we're going to be switching from this, you know, this screen right here. Don't trip, y'all. I know y'all want to be able to see Reason a little bit closer and everything like that. But let's take a look at Pattern Mutator to start off. Okay, so I'm going to solo off this drum set that we have here. Of course, still using EQ Guide, Chris Reed Beats, just ever so slightly for just a few things. I think in here, I literally just added a touch of bass sub and a touch of punch for that kick drum in that drum kit there. And just like what came up earlier when I put out a short video about this earlier, and what came out was, well, what if you don't have Reason drum kits? Well, guess what? You can use Pattern Mutator and the players with different VSTs. So if you have Superior Drummer, or if you have Moto Drum from IK Multimedia, if you have any kind of multi-sample, multi-layer keyboard style drum kit, you can use that for that. But you also can just use it for like a Kong drum kit, right? Like, you're not limited if you don't have the kits. Now, if you don't have Pattern Mutator, then you need to get Reason Plus. Okay, you need to get Reason Plus so you can have access to these different players that are not included with the Reason subscription, or with the Reason DAW, right? So you're going to get some with Reason 12, but you're not going to get all of them. And if you want to get all of them, especially like Chord Sequencer, any of these later ones that came out, Polystep Sequencer, Chord Sequencer, Quad Note Generator, you're not going to get those. Okay, so you got to get Reason Plus or buy them from the store if you want to use them. Pattern Mutator took a minute for me to understand, because it just didn't have the lookout and the layout that I thought it should have, or do the things that I thought it should do. But here's the hack that helped me to make it make sense. The hack was not to play into Pattern Mutator, but to first play into the sequencer and then record from the sequencer into Pattern Mutator. And if you do it that way, then you can use Pattern Mutator in a different way. So normally when you're using Pattern Mutator, what you want to do is you want to select the pattern, and then you could hit record. And then as you play the record, or you could do a step record, right? And then you can add in the steps, and then it will play that back, right? So there's our steps that we did with just our toms, but I don't like that. I'm gonna hit clear pattern. So I'm clearing out that pattern real quick. I don't want that pattern. Let's go in a little closer here so we can see a little bit more. What's up, Raging Oracle? You have not missed a lot, sir. We are just getting started with Pattern Mutator. I feel like Pattern Mutator is a little underrated because it could be a little harder to use at the beginning, but we're going to look at a few things so that we can maybe use it and it not be so difficult to use. So like I was saying, step record, you could use that in order to get the MIDI notes into your Pattern Mutator. But the problem with that is that it's just going to record it every time I press a key. It's just going to do a step recording. So when we, stop that and play that back, it's just going to be like boom, clap, boom, clap. It's not going to give me any kind of like pattern. And if I do a record, let's clear this. If I do a record, then I don't have a metronome to know like what it's gonna sound like, but we can just play something real quick. So now we have, that's like a little reggae, little dance hall. Hey. So we have our pattern, and then it was like, okay, this mutate section was a little interesting, but the way that it works is you have your pattern here, and you could just leave it like that. You don't even have to do the mutation part. It could just be a player that just plays that pattern, right? And you just have that. And then what you could do is you can change some stuff about it, like you can add a little bit more shuffle. Right, so you could add some stuff to it or not, or you could like change the rate of it, make it play at a different rate. Right, so you have different ways that you can manipulate it. And like, so here's another part. So you can kind of look at this wheel here, and this is the beginning of that kick drum. But at first it was a little off. It wasn't on the 1. So now we're going to put it on the 1. Let's set our rate to 1/8. And just by doing that, we've moved away from our little reggae sound of those drums. Right, we've moved away from it. But if we go a little faster and put that kick drum where it was at, so that changes things. So that's on the side of the pattern side. On the mutate side, it all comes into action when you press this mutate button in the middle. And of course, you're looking at these different parameters here. So if we're adding in the accent, the velocity here, if we're adding in more velocity, then that means it's going to change the way that you recorded it. If you was playing really, really loud, the more velocity you mutate, the more it's going to affect that velocity. So maybe it makes the softer things louder, the louder things softer. It will mutate it in that way. Same thing with note length. Some notes that you recorded in could be shorter, and now when you hit mutate, if you turn up this note length, they will be longer. Density is what I used in order to create the feels that I created, and I'll also play those feels so that you can hear them. So I just turned up the density, which means it's adding in more notes than what I played originally. And when we hit swap, you'll be able to hear how it changes this pattern into something different. And swap, I still haven't fully understood. We might be pulling up the Reason manual today so that we can understand what swap actually means, but I'm just gonna say it means something like it blends the mutation in the pattern, and it decides how much of the original you want to keep and how much of the mutation you want to keep. Okay, we're gonna say that that's what it means, but that might not be it. Octave or pitch, pretty self-explanatory. The way that it works with Pattern Mutator with drums is as you change these pitches, if you change this pitch, you introduce other drum elements. So if there's no pitch change, then it's only going to change the snare, kick, and hi-hat. It's only going to play those because it's only playing on those key values, those pitches on your keyboard. But if you add in any amount of this in terms of your octave and your pitch, if you add anything in here, then what that is going to do is introduce other elements. So now you have some toms coming in, now you have some cymbal coming in, whatever is in your drum kit then can be introduced. So I'm going to show you guys without that, just this. We're going to affect the velocity, the swap, the density. We're going to hit mutate one time, and then we're going to play our mutation. So now you kind of think of it like variations. And then remember, you can move this like this. So you can always move the pattern like this. And that was something that, like I said, until I really sat and looked at it and said, how do you use this thing? It wasn't until I sat and really looked at it and said, okay, oh, you can move these things around. Okay, that definitely helps because your pattern gets mutated and it can just change altogether. So here we would need to put it like here, and now we have our kick starting at the same spot. So we can do that. Now you can hit mutate again. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, I'm liking this, man. I'm telling you, I'm liking it, man, because it's just giving me that same, it's giving me that same little flavor. It's giving me that same little flavor that I started with. give me the same little reggae feel. Okay. So we're looking at this pattern mutator, right? Like it kept the same vibe, the same feel. What if we turn down our swap and then hit mutate? Oh, well, now it's not swap. So that's not what swap means then. It's like, it is. No, it is. It's how much of the original is going into the mutation. So if we set it to 0, it's not changing anything, right? It's going to keep the same. So if we hit the swap, 100%, you know, now we get some changes on some things. But I think I need to go back here. Oh, that's right. I need to go back here. Let me hit mutate. Okay, if we turn the swap down, what does it sound like now? Okay, cool. Let's turn the swap up, hit mutate. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? It's like a what's the word that we're using here? It's algorithmic, it's random, it's randomized, right? So it's hit and miss sometime, right? Sometime it's hit and miss. So you gotta like really dial it in, you know what I'm saying? Dial it in until you get the thing that you want. Catchy Noise Productions, what's up? I don't feel like a young man. I feel like old man, an old soul. But nonetheless, using this pattern mutator is really cool. Now, the last step to this situation, once you find something that you really like, and I'm gonna hit undo. Man, I hope I can get it. I don't think I'm gonna get it, y'all. I think it's lost forever, because I don't think my undos are going to bring it back. It's not gonna bring that mutation back. Let's see. It's not gonna bring it back. I should have saved it when I liked it. So I have this pattern here. I can hit mutate. It just only has one note now. Okay, so you don't want to have all your swap, right? You need to have a little bit of the swap down. Okay, let's go to the pattern. Let's hit mutate. Let's do it again. I'm not gonna get it back. I'm never gonna get it back. Okay, I like that. Okay, so let's say I find something that I really like I just did. I'm not gonna get that other one back, but maybe I'll go back and rewatch the live stream, or maybe somebody will, like, you know, get the timestamp for me, put the timestamp in the chat. I'd appreciate that. Something like that. I need like a dedicated person to do stuff like that. I'll be trying to like create more and more stuff, and I'm like not ever able to actually do it because I don't have enough time to do the editing and whatever. And it's one more thing that's on my mind that we have to talk about. I tried to undo Raging Order Core. I wasn't able to get it back. When you do undo, it doesn't change the mutation. I tried to undo it, didn't change it. There's one other thing that we got to talk about that's kind of important, kind of big. It's kind of like a big deal, and so we got to talk about that. Actually, it's two things that it's been a minute since I've been on the live stream, y'all. So there's two things that I need to talk about that I have not had a chance to talk to y'all about. It might be three things. Oh man, it's a lot of stuff. I have not been on here in a minute. And so it's a lot of stuff I got to talk to y'all about, but let's get back to pattern mutator. Okay. Don't let my ADHD, you know, keep you from leaving. Don't leave the stream. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, Catchy Doors. We're going to talk about it. Once you find the pattern that you really like, then you're going to copy the pattern to mutator. Then you're going to copy the mutation to a pattern. And it only really plays the pattern. You don't want it to be playing a mutation. Now on here, you can see all these black dots. That represents patterns or mutations that have already been copied to patterns. So pattern 7 is the only one that's still available. So I can hit copy the pattern and now it's there. But what do you say? Now that we've done that, doesn't that mean that now I can build upon that mutation? Because now that mutation is a pattern. So then if I add in more density, won't it give me even more notes? You know, it's like the more you do it, the more it kind of just builds on itself, right? Because like you're adding and you're just creating more and more and more and more and more. And when you have that record, you can just add more things to it. Well, not the baseline, because it's not going to record the baseline, but you can add more things to the pattern, right? So if we have here, I just added in that note, but that note wasn't anything. There we go. So now we added in something. So you can add in notes as you're playing the pattern, right? You can add in notes as you're playing the pattern. So you add in notes. Now you have that pattern there. You can go through. You can have more of the pattern. See that? Now we got more steps. So then you can really just make this thing, you know, as long as you need it to, right? Because now you can just add more and more and more and more and more to it. And as you hit mutate, you get something different every time. So you get something different every time. So this is what I started with when I was doing the original part of this beat, because I started with the drums. So I started with this drum. And it didn't have any shuffle at first. And now I'm gonna show you guys how I got that into pattern mutator, okay? So the way we got that into pattern mutator is because you can do it both ways, okay? You can create the pattern in pattern mutator, and then you can hit send to track, and then now you have that as a clip inside of Reason that you can then, you know, in your sequencer, you can move it around and do what you need to do with it. Or you can start from inside of your sequencer, draw out your MIDI pattern, draw out your drums and everything like I did, and then send that into pattern mutator. Now it's not going to be one-to-one because pattern mutator is extremely like quantized, unless there is a way, let me see. Unless there is no way for me to turn off the rate. There's no way for it to go in unquantized. So it kind of goes in unquantized, if you will. So because it goes in unquantized, like I'm going to show you the drums that I played. I played these drums on my keyboard. So I played them on my keyboard, and this is the recording that I got when I played it on my keyboard. That sounds a lot different than this, right? Wait, where is it? Play it. What you doing? Why is it not playing no more? Is it because I muted it? Oh, it's because I muted it. Okay, here we go. So that sounds different than this. Okay, I'm gonna play the other one. Right? So all of that is manual. All of that is manual. That's what I'll play, you know, with my keyboard, right? But I played this to start, just this loop right here. And you can even hear that there's like some syncopation happening. It's not completely on the grid. The hi-hats are doing a different rhythm than everything else. The snare is flamming. If you even try to record that into pattern mutator, it's not going to record it into pattern mutator like that. It's going to give you a very quantized vanilla version of it. Now that's just one of the limitations, but the cool thing about it is what you can do is when you hit this record button, I kind of need some, oh, we'll do it on 7. When you hit this record button and you hit play over here, it's going to record whatever is in this sequencer into pattern mutator. Okay, so we're going to hit play. And of course, because there was already a pattern there, it recorded that pattern too. But let me just clear the pattern. Okay, we're going to hit record. We're going to go back to 7, hit record. I should have saved this as something else because now I'm finna break something. Okay, pattern mutator class, I guess. Welcome, I am Chris Reed, your professor for the day. Okay, so as we are going to play this, it's going to record into pattern sequencer. So let's play it. Okay, so now let's play it back and we'll hear what it sounds like. So you can hear it sounds different, right? You can hear that it sounds different. It's not quite what we played. It's not quite what we played. Okay, so we gotta look at the manual today too. I gotta look at the manual because I just want to look at the manual. So if I was to, for example, let's say we took this and actually, I don't want to mess up the rest of the song, but let's, you know, take this and we'll take this and this here. So this is like 4 bars, 8 bars, right? Okay, cool. So we have our bar situation here. We're gonna do it like that. Okay, so now we're gonna play this loop, okay, and we're gonna record into pattern 7 this loop. Okay, so we just recorded the pattern. It did start somewhere different, and we do want it to start at the 1, so we can rotate this guy. Why'd I rotate it like that? Okay. It doesn't play. It plays in very quantized. It doesn't play in the way that you play it. So that's why I introduced a little more shuffle. And now we're getting closer to back what we had at the beginning. But this doesn't have the shuffle anymore. It's supposed to have 60 shuffle. So that's the first step. Okay, that's not the end step. That's the first step. The first step is getting the drums, getting the pattern, the whatever you're going to use into Pattern Mutator. So you can do a step record, you can do a manual record, or you can record from your sequencer into Pattern Mutator. And if you're recording from your sequencer, or how about this, maybe another player, or even like a redrum sequencer, if you're recording from the sequencer, then you know that what's going into Pattern Mutator is whatever you have played out. But it's going to be extremely quantized. It's not going to have as much flavor. And so those are the limitations. It probably is a lot better with like melodies and things like that. But nonetheless, I mean, you guys heard what we made, and we were able to create these different feels. I'll show you here. We were able to create these different feels with Pattern Mutator. So this is the second part of what I was doing with Pattern Mutator. You have the different patterns and you make your mutations. From this pattern, I made these mutations. Okay, 6 and 8. So not 7, because 7 we was working on today. So we made these different mutations. So we'll play the original. Hear how it's just adding in subtle differences. It's just adding in a few more notes. It's changing some of the rhythms. So all of those are just mutations from this first pattern. I mean, that's a feel. That's a drum feel. Doesn't work on a loop by itself, but as a drum feel, number 4, that kind of works to add in some variety to this drum, because this is just very repetitive to just have that going over and over again. Right? You can kind of hear the drum fills happening. So now I was going crazy. Now I turned up the pitch and the octave here to get that mutation. But this is what I mean by you can have these different feels and patterns and variations by using Pattern Mutator. So the next step is to use automation. So then I hit Edit Automation, and that brings up this window here where you can see these bars. Right, pattern select here. So we have 1, 1, 4, which means the Pattern Mutator sequencer is changing right there on that 4. And isn't that exactly what you would do with a drum fill? Yes, it is. So let's play that and hear how that sounds. And it just gives you something like a little subtle change in your music right there. Okay, how about from 1 to 2 and then to 3? So this is what I mean. Like, the more you do these mutations, you can just add in variety. So here's a time I went from 1 to 5. Now, I added in some more. I recorded these, but I'm going to just take these out real quick. I'll mute those real quick, just so we can hear what Pattern Mutator sounds like. So I went from 1 to 5 to 3. And that's how we did many of those drum fills, just moving from, you know, the main drum into a different pattern from Pattern Mutator, where we mutated the pattern to create those drum fills. Now, some of the other drum fills that you heard, or, you know, just different drum parts that we did, of course, those came from me, you know, playing manually and, you know, kind of sticking things in as I saw I needed them to be there. So the intro, for example, that intro, for example, that's like, oh, what do I want it to do as I introduce that, you know, as I introduce that main line of the song? You know, how do we introduce this with the drums? Like, you know, I'm very like live band influenced in my music production in general. And so like I'm always searching for that feel. And I've been watching this YouTube channel called Digging the Crates. I've been watching this YouTube channel called Digging the Crates, and I've been learning a lot from that YouTube channel, to say the least. It has inspired me in so many different ways, and every time I go to watch a video, it's called Digging the Greats. Okay, so I've been watching this YouTube channel called Digging the Greats, and it's like a play on words, right? Digging through crates, like vinyl, crates of vinyl, digging the greats, and you kind of like digging them and, you know, digging dirt up on them. It's like all these different, whatever. It's a great YouTube channel. I definitely recommend 10 out of 10. So I've been watching it, and it's just been talking about the creation and the formation of all of these different bands and songs, like the Fugees, all of these different, you know, just different people and where they got their inspirations from. And he did this one episode on like quantize and metronome, and how, you know, before, you know, digital production, when you recorded music, it was like one take at one point in time before you had like overdubs and stuff like that. It's just like one take. So it's like the band has to get together and play together and rehearse and then record. And, you know, you're not going to be in perfect timing. And the best take is going to be the one that the audience and the fans are going to hear, or at least the best take in certain situations. And so it was interesting because he's talking about how now we have a metronome. And so a lot of times we're making music set to a metronome and also using quantize. He also has an episode about quantize where he talks about Jay Dilla's style of quantizing and how he changed the game in the way of which he quantized. And so all of that to say, it's heavily influenced on that style of music where things were unquantized, not played to a metronome. And it was like a group of people getting together to make music and vibing off of each other, and the sound and the different things that happen. You get a lot of variation. You get a lot of intros, you get a lot of bridges, you get a lot of, you know, turnarounds, you get a lot of different things that happen when you have different people playing riffs. You get all of these different things happening, and the beat just doesn't sound like a 4-bar loop, because all of these different, you know, instrumentalists and musicians are playing different things. And, you know, you know, the bass player is like, oh, it'll be cool if I put something like this, if I put that right here. And then when you did that, the piano player was like, he's about to do something crazy. Let me just ease off on the keys for a second. Let him do his crazy thing. Okay, now I'm finna come back. It's just like something so different when you have more people playing with you and when you have the style of live music. So that influenced this track and a lot of my tracks for that matter. It just influenced this track and a lot of my tracks when I think about live music and how live music comes together. And so I added in some of these drum fills because I'm like, all right, if this is a band and not just a one-man band, which is Chris, you know, trying to play some music, what are they going to be doing? What's the bass guitar going to be doing right here? You know, what's the keyboardist going to be doing? Are we going to have some auxiliary instruments? You know, what's the drummer doing? So it's like, yeah, on the intro, you know, the drummer's going to come in, slap that thing, you know, give you a little lead in, ba, 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 and then boom, now here's the track. So we added in these drum fills. Because like you making the track, it was like, oh, you know, I played something on a guitar, which is that line right here, and it doesn't sound that great by itself. So then I stacked it up a little bit, doubled it up a little bit with some, you know, some other parts. And then, you know, it was like, oh, well, since the guitar is doing that, then how about we mimic that with the other elements as well? Like we all come together for that one part, right? And that's like one of those things that music and, you know, bands will often do. You know, you have that moment that lead into the next part where it's like, and resolve with this melody, that kind of thing. So all of those things influenced it. And that's why I'm talking about that. The number one thing was the drums. Starting with the drums and having these different parts where the drums just slightly change, that influenced the rest of the elements to fall in where they fall in. And so I like the track. I'm not saying the track is like the greatest track ever. Of course, y'all, I'm really thinking about something. I'm really thinking like, what can I do to get this stuff like professionally mixed? Because like I try my best and sometimes I don't try at all. But just thinking about that, like, man, I wonder, is it me? Is it Reason? What is it, the instruments? Is it the VSTs? Is it possible to get this to sound much better and then learn like what that is? So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and one of the things that I have to like invest in and really do. And, you know, it's like it's been a lot of time, you know, working on music and working on, I definitely need to call Catchy Noise. It's been a lot of time working on music and working in Reason, and it just kind of feels like I've learned what I can learn to this point. It does not feel like I need to learn more in order to do it. It feels like it's me. It feels like there's like, I don't know, maybe my ears are going, like I have bad ears. Like that's one thing, you have to train your ears. And I kind of just feel like I'm like an old dog and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I kind of feel like I've been like untrained my whole life. And so now I can't train my ears to mix and get a better sonic quality. Like I just don't hear it. I don't hear the thing I'm looking for. Maybe it is, I don't know. Just conversation is what I'm having essentially right now. I'm just distracted and just wanted to talk about mix, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that there's a lot of elements in this track that makes it go, oh, okay, that's pretty good. And Catchy Noise is one of those guys that really helped me a lot, because like his ideas in terms of like, you know, rerouting and using all the gear, like using more gear than just like mixing in the box, but like, you know, using other audio interfaces, using other sound modules, using like actual analog compression. Like I know all of that stuff is like part of the, you know, it's like missing pieces to the puzzle, you know. I know all of that stuff is going to take it to the next level. But even just, you know, even just in general, like, okay, training your ears, having an ear for different sounds, like people say things like, oh, it sounds boxy. And so then it's like, well, you know that it's like an EQ thing about boxiness, but how do you hear boxiness? Maybe my ears are like clogged up, and so it sound boxy to me, and then it don't sound as boxy. So then what happens is I'm mixing it and I take out the boxiness, but then when other people hear it, it's like it's thin. And I'm like, to me, like, no, it doesn't sound thin at all. It sounds good. It sounds right where it needs to be. And there's another person that's often on the live streams. They always tell me, you know, 'cause I'm using these headphones, they say you got to get the headphone tuner so that when you start to mix, you get a flatter response. There's like some kind of app in VST that you can use in order to make your headphones sound flat, or like, you know, I don't know, whatever, remove whatever needs to be removed so that when you're mixing, you can mix better. I wish I knew who it was. I feel like it was Raging Oracle, or it might have been Sasha, or it might have been I hate to forget people's names, but one of y'all. So all of that to say, that's just a thought, because I'm listening to the track and I'm going, I thought I fixed that. And it's like, no, you didn't. And I'm listening to the track like, oh, this could sound, what if this sounded so much better? And it's just like, oh, maybe I just need to print out the tabs, the guitar tabs, the music sheets. And maybe I just need to print everything out and then just get it to some musicians and then just be like, hey, just play this. We're going to record you. Or like, oh, here's the ideas. Or like, here's the format of the beat. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to play it at this studio with this kind of recording and things like that. Right. So that I know I'm getting the highest quality of, you know, whatever I can get out of it. To me, it's just wild. Because to me, whenever I'm like, when I'm playing it and I'm making the beat, I'm like, man, I love those drums. I'm like, I think that when I'm playing, I'm like, I love how it sounds good. And then it's like, when I play it back, it's just kind of like not so much. But it's like, wait, but it's the same drums I was just playing. It's the same drums. And so it's like, so it's a mix. It's a mix thing. It has to be a mix thing, because if it's the same drums and I'm liking how the drums sound there, but I don't like how the drums sound when the rest of the music comes in, then it's got to be a mix. It's got to be a mix issue, right? And it's like the difference between like when I mic up my drum set and then I pull that into Reason and then I play these sampled. When I play these sampled versions of those, it's like, I never want to mic my drum kit ever again. I'm like, this garage sounds terrible. These mics sound horrible. Like, it's like, I never want to do that after hearing this. But in real life, when I'm playing the drums at the drum set, I'm happy as can be. I'm like, yes, these sound exactly how I want it to sound. But why doesn't it sound like that when I'm recording it? And why doesn't it sound like that once it's in Reason. So there's a disconnect there, and I know it's because it's the limitations of things, right? Like these drums were recorded with like really, really good microphones, and like, you know, all the microphones that you're supposed to have, not just two dynamic microphones. Like each instrument has a microphone, and then there's overheads, and there's a room mic, and the room mic is like a really good room mic, and they've been hyper sampled and sampled into the DAW and into this kit. I don't like that rim. You gotta find it. You gotta find the rim that you really like. But anyway, to get back to what we was talking about with Pattern Mutator, because I definitely didn't finish talking about what we was talking about with Pattern Mutator. To get back to Pattern Mutator, that's what we used. We used the original pattern that was played into Pattern Mutator, and then we used that to create these mutations, and then we added those back into the sequence so that we can create some change and some variety and some feel into the drum loop, right? So that's the idea. But you could, like I was saying, you could do that with anything. You can do that with anything. Not, you could do it with chords. You could do it with chords, but I don't know. Let's open up something new, and then we'll do it with chords there. As we look at Pattern Mutator just a little bit longer, a little bit closer. I just like it. I think it's underrated because it could be kind of hard. It could be kind of hard to use. At least at first for me it was, until I really like stopped and just looked at it and then just said, okay, that's how we're gonna do things. Okay, that's how we're gonna do things. So Ben Bowman, as I'm just looking to see some of the things you guys are saying, Ben Bowman's different variances, your mic, headphones, bit depth, you record at noise floor, etc., etc., etc. All of those things, right? And then it's just this one thing though, Ben Bowman. It's like, it's also just like luck, or like the day of the week, or a feeling that day. I don't know, because when I first started doing this YouTube channel and really like getting back into music, I did like a Reason drum kits, it was a Chris Reed drums drum loop collection, or whatever, sound pack that you could download. And I remember I used the same microphones in the same positionings on the same settings. And it's like, why doesn't it sound like how it sounded that day? It sounded good that day. What was I doing? What didn't I do this time that I did last time? Because it's the same microphones. It's the same, it's weird. It's like, what is happening? I'm in the twilight zone. It's like, I would swear to myself, I would like pull up songs and pull up like tracks and projects, and I would be like, oh wow, those drums are recorded. Why do those drums sound like that? And it's like, I can't recreate that. It's so weird. It's like, but it's the same thing. I could record something tonight and tomorrow record something and not move a microphone, and then it just be like, it sounds different. Why does it sound different today? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. So you're right. It's gotta be a mix of, it's gotta be something that I'm doing. Of course, I understand that, and I'm not perfect. I ain't figured it all out by a long shot for sure. So we just gonna keep working and having fun. Because a lot of those times I don't get things to sound, look at that. It could be even as simple as a temperature change. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm talking about. You see what I'm talking about. It is. And then somebody was telling me that too, like, really good drums have better hardware. And so when the temperature changes, the wood flexes and the metal flexes and all that other type stuff. When you have really bad or really cheap drums, then that will happen even more. So it's like all of those things come into play, right? And so I guess it's happened with everything. It's just, here's the word. I'm gonna give you guys the word. Yes, Shay, I will play around with some melodies with Pattern Mutator. Absolutely. Here's the word. The word, it's not the mic pre because it's the same mic pre. The word is patience. It's the one word that I have not truly embraced. I've understood it from time to time. I've tried it, but I haven't really embraced it. I definitely have a tendency to be impatient. Definitely have a tendency to fly off at the handle and just jump into something. Definitely not planning things through. And I'm saying that because maybe if I had just took a second to, I don't know, get the drum key and tune the drums, like actually wait and listen and see if the drums are tuned how I wanted them tuned. Because I have the same issue with guitar and bass guitar. I want to be able to grab it and just start playing. And I've noticed that too. I would listen to a beat and I would say, man, that guitar sounds good. And I start looking at it and I'm like, oh, that must be from a VST, or that must be a loop that I found. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, nah, Chris, you recorded that. Like, that was you. You played that guitar. I'm like, how? It sounds so good. That can't be me. And because it don't sound like that now. Like, it's like, I don't understand what's happening. So it's just one of those weird things. Okay, so enough of that. Yes, all of those things are true. Yes, Chris, you need more patience. You need to take more time. Tune your stuff, tune your instruments. Don't just jump into the first thing. Don't buy the first thing that you see. You know, have patience, think things through, have a plan, execute the plan, do those things. Take your time. The name of that, I do not accidentally name tracks anymore. Now I name tracks purposely. The name of the track that you guys were listening to earlier, that we were talking about earlier, is Slow Down. And when I was going to make that track, that is exactly what I told myself. I said, Chris, slow down. You're not going to get to your masterpiece. You're not going to get to the greatest track you've ever made by speeding through the production. You're not going to get to, oh, this is a really great track. This is a really great EP, a really great album, because you sped through the production of it. It's like, you got to get 5 beats a day for 3 summers. It's like, no. Slow down. Patience. If you work the muscle, if you get the help, if you acquire, if you get the things that you need in order to work at that productivity, then great. Then you can work at that productivity. But as you are now, speeding through is only going to get you to where you were and where you have always been. If all you have ever done is speed through things, then that's all you will ever be. You will have the same quality. You will have the same result that you always have had, because in the past you spent 10 minutes on a beat. And so in the future, that 10-minute beat that you're doing is going to sound just like that other 10-minute beat that you did. You have to have a sense of, taking your time, and it's not a rush, and it's not, the end of the world. It's like, flex your craft, grow your craft, build your craft, make the music, have the fun, It's literally like sometimes I'll go and be like, man, this gotta be the one. It's just like, it's so much pressure for no reason at all. It's just, there's no reason for that. So patience, man, is important. And that is the last of our TED Talk. My analog board is on for hours before I sum through it. Couldn't tell you nothing about it. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know if it matters. I don't know. I ain't never owned an analog board. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to you. I was thinking about that. Like, you're talking about like an analog board. I was like, I wonder if your audio interface, is the same. Like, you can't just like, as soon as you turn your computer on, just like start cranking out stuff. Like, I wonder if it matters. Like, you got to kind of warm up the headphones and speakers and stuff. I will tell you that the tracks that it usually takes two things for me. It takes two things for me to get something I really like and I think sounds good. Oh, interface has no color. So, okay. So it don't matter for interfaces. It's two things that it takes for me to get something to sound really good that I like and enjoy. The first thing is having it, when I'm going to create, having a feeling of freedom, having a feeling of guilt free, having a feeling of like my conscience is clear. Like I was saying earlier in the video, my mind was cluttered about how many beats I had that were just sitting there not doing anything. At the very least, I need to like export them, mix them, come up with a plan for them, delete them, create loops from them, do something. There's too many files there just sitting there. But also just the sense of like, you know, just like life, you know, life is life, bro. So I have to have a feeling of, you got time, you know, work is done. You did everything you could do for the church. The baby is asleep. Wife is taken care of. You did the laundry. The groceries is in the refrigerator. Like, everything has to be done. Where it's like, all right, this is literally your time. It's your time. Problem with that is a lot of times it's usually like 3-4 a.m. in the morning. So the second thing is time. It's time. It's like, how much time, how much of this guilt-free environment where I can let my creativity flow, how much of it do I have? Do I have, you know, an hour? Do I have 2 hours? And will I be okay after 2 hours or 3 hours after my session? Will I be okay with whatever comes out? Or will I say, man, if I didn't create the dopest track for Doja Cat, then that was a waste of 3 hours. It's like that. Those are the two things that I need. It's the time and like the guilt-free, the freedom. That's it. Freedom and time. If I'm free to create whatever, and I'm not thinking about who this track could go to, what this track could be used for, how great or bad or good or not the track is, and I have time, that's when I know I got something. That's when I know it's like, okay, for sure, dope. I like it. That was dope. I took my time, I had time, and I had freedom to do it. And so those are the two things, man. Those are the two things, man. Chris, you can do it. Thank you. I did it through watching YouTube vids of reputable engineers, old guys that have been in the game for decades. I feel you. One thing I was considering was taking some courses. I'm in the process of creating a course for Reason. But specifically about like sonic, like, you know, sonics and like tuning your ear and mixing like an engineer would mix. There's one thing I was thinking about, you know, taking some courses. I don't think in this point in my life I could like go back to school to like be a sound engineer, or like, I don't think I could go that deep into it, but I definitely can do some online courses. And the only reason why I wouldn't do YouTube is because I done seen every video. I'm like, I'm like 80% sure I've seen all the videos. I'm 80% sure I've watched all the videos that there is to watch, or have made them, or been a part of making them, or like I didn't see. It's all there. It's all like, you know, it's like with like camera work and like videography too. It's like a lot of the times whenever I'm trying to figure out how to do something with my camera, whether it be like recording an event or photography or like just whatever, like whenever I'm trying to figure something out, what always boils down at the end of the day, it's like some of it is skill, some of it is like the know-how, but a lot of times it'd be like, oh, but I knew that and I've been doing that. And you know what it comes down to? It just comes down to gear. It comes down to, these are the settings. This is how you can get the best idea, the best use case. And then it's like, well, what's the difference between, you know, shot A and shot B? Oh, the difference between shot A and shot B is like $5,000. So it's just like, oh, that's the difference. Oh, okay, cool. Why is there so much noise in my mic, in my preamp? Why is there so much noise in my interface when I go to record something? Oh, it's because your interface is $89. And you know, said, oh, if you got this one for $1,200, you wouldn't have that problem. You would have a lot cleaner air. You have a much lower noise floor. Oh, will that be the difference? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, how about, you know, oh, you just run your guitar straight from the guitar into your audio interface? Wait, so you don't run it through compressors and you don't run it through any analog gear before you run it into your, whoa, like that's a foreign thing. You know, when it just comes down to it, like that's something. So I never want to let that be the end of the conversation, because it's not that. I'm not saying that money is the issue or the reason why your beats don't sound as good as they should sound, or my beats don't sound as good as they should sound. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that sometimes better gear, better things will eliminate problems, you know, before they actually occur. And it's interesting that a lot of the times when I'm watching those videos, like that's usually the difference. Like I really just want, it really would just have to be somebody sitting in this chair doing the same exact thing I did, and then I see them and I say, oh, that's what you did different. Got you. Then it's clear. It's crystal clear at that point. Once you see that, it's crystal clear at that point, you know, what the problem is. But it's never like that. It's always like I'm watching like Sanjay C, and I'm like, man, this video is so cool. Like he's talking about this stuff, like doing this stuff, and then it's just like, you know, pulls out Contact 7 library, and it's like all these other different sounds, and or you know what I'm saying, you pull out you know, just different stuff, man. Just different, you know what I'm saying? We talking about like recording vocals or something. You pull out a Newman and it's just like, yeah, of course, man. I got a blue microphone here. I got a PreSonus PD, you know, 100 or whatever. Like, yeah, it's kind of a little different between the two. I don't know, whatever. So I'm just looking to see like what that would take, what that would be. Catchy Noise Production. We gonna link. We're going to link sooner than you know, actually. You know what I'm saying? We're going to link sooner than you know, my brother. Catchy got a lot of stuff happening in that studio over there of his, man. He got a lot of stuff going into there. And it's looking good, man. It's looking good. You know what I'm saying? So I already done heard all the music that been coming out of that thing. So that's already been hands down, you know what I'm saying? The mix and everything that's coming out of there. So it's just like to get in the room is a must. Okay. Let me, Che, are you still here? Did Che leave? Because I went on my little rant, Che. I'm trying to, you know, I try, but a lot of times I get distracted and I get excited about stuff. And so I'm sorry. Che still here, for sure. So Che says, can you play around with some melodies with Pattern Mutator, please? Yes, I will absolutely do that. So I want to find something, an object, because object is, you know, object is still object. Let's find something cool in object. All right, so let's go at it from the perspective of both perspectives. One perspective being, oh, that's why that thing is doing that. Because I'm like, why is it doing that? It doesn't normally, didn't normally do that. Need to increase this buffer size. Let's go at it from two perspectives. The first perspective is like, I don't play keyboard, or like I don't know how to like create melodies, right? So it's like I just kind of want something to like do it for me, you know. So we'll kind of go at it from there. So we'll say I'm here in my pattern mutator and I have no pattern. It's connected to my object. First, if we're doing a melody, you know, we have to kind of think of like what is a melody and what makes it a melody. And the first thing is just like a melody is when you are having movement in your pitches or in your notes, and you're moving from, you know, you're moving from up to down or down to up or some variation of the two, because that's how music moves. It's just either you're going up in pitch or you're going down in pitch, or you're staying the same in pitch to a certain rhythm. So even if we just did the simplest thing we can do in pattern mutator, and we just take this step record and we just play, let's just play one note, and we're just gonna play something super simple like, so we just played that. Wait, let's do that over because I messed it up. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna add something so that you can hear the metronome, because the way I have things routed, you can't hear metronome or whatever. So I'm gonna just add this so you can hear the metronome of this pattern. So only thing we've done so far is just play one note. Okay. And I ain't gonna change nothing else. I'm gonna just hit mutate real quick. Let me turn off the step record. I'm gonna just hit mutate. And now let's hear what we got. So something changed. The only thing changed here is like some of the velocity. So now let's actually introduce some pitch into here and hit mutate again. Let's change it. Let's put a lot. So kind of like a ARP at this point, right? Let's add in some density into our mutation. Let's go back to our pattern. Let's add in that. Now let's take this and let's go to pattern 2 real quick. Now we have this new pattern, because we can hear something different happening. Dun, 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 dun. Let's slow it down. Now you got to remember, when we started, the only thing that we played was one note. Okay. And I think it's just doing an octave at this point right now. It's just doing an octave. So, you know, it's still not doing much, but let's hit record. And now we'll add in another note. If I was actually playing in this thing. So now we got 3 notes. Okay, now let's hit mutate again. Let me see. Turn off record. Turn up our swap. Let's add in the density. And let's hit mutate. I wonder if anybody looking at me like, hello? Hello? It's just one note there. Hello? Hello? How did we get to one note? The density is so much up. How do we get to one note? Okay, we can copy that to another panel. Okay, let's copy that over here. Let's do it. Let's do it again. Okay. Here's where we started in the beginning. Okay, and then that's what we got now. So that's if it's like, all right, cool. I don't know how to do melodies like at all. Like 0% do I know how to do any kind of melodies. I just play like one note and then it's just like, okay, what can I do with that one note? What can I add in with that one note? You know, what can I do with it? Can I, you know, like manipulate it a little bit? Can we, you know, get something else out of it to mutate the pattern, to get something different? You know, that's kind of the idea. Okay, let's double up on this thing and let's add in the scales and chords. Not for the chords, for the scale. I want to keep that one. What I wanted to do is actually like create like a melody that was like recognizable, if you will. Yo, Posting Beats, what's good, man? Welcome. So let's do something instead. Oh, so the problem is it recorded over here in the sequencer as well. So now we have our melody that's recorded in. And if we change this scales and chord, we got a totally different melody. Same in style, but just a little different, you know? So I'm gonna reset these values back to, you know, their original values or whatever they're normally at. And let's hit mutate. So nothing happens when we hit mutate because there's no change. Let's do density. Now that we have some different notes added in, different rhythms. So this is what this tells me. What this tells me is you need a little bit more than just like one note. Like you need a little more than just one note. You need to like feed it, you know, a little bit more than just, you know, one note. I'm always going with a reverb. So there's like a mutation that you could use, right? So you hit, you know, smooth that over there. We can come back to original. There's our original. We just did density that time. Now let's do density and a little bit of the pitch, octave pitch, mutate amount. We'll do like that. That sounds like a song now. Oh, let's not do that. Let's. Oh, I like that. Bring that in there. So let's you know, do drums with it, right? And you know, create some different stuff happening with the drums. So as I was saying before, you could do like Kong, right? We could do Kong. I wish I had a Kong kit that I created that I liked. I don't feel like doing one. No. We might can make something with that. So we'll add a pattern mutator to the drums real quick. Seem to have lost my drums. Okay, so I'm gonna do that thing that I did before where I'm gonna bypass this and then I'm gonna like create a drum pattern. Just trying to find the drums. No, let's not do that. So now that we have that drum pattern, we can come in here. I'm going to take off the loop so that when it finishes, it'll be gone. And then we'll just play the loop. We'll just play it and it'll record it into the what is this thing called? I'm gonna increase the length real quick. It's gonna play into the pattern mutator. So see, it's playing into the pattern mutator. There we go. So now it's played into it. Okay, and so now the only thing I just want to change, I just want to add a little density into it and change some of the velocity and hear what that sounds like. So now it just introduced some other stuff. I had that pitch in there. I didn't want that pitch in there. Mutate. I didn't want that. Still pretty much the same pattern, just added a few more notes. So let's mutate it again. So one of those things that I would do, I would use that on a different pattern. I wouldn't use it all together. I would use it kind of like this. And one other thing that you could do is you can put on direct record like this, and then let's pre, and then we're going to record me switching back and forth between the patterns. Okay, so the direct record just records whatever is playing from the pattern mutator. So when we were switching back and forth, if we didn't switch between the patterns, then it wouldn't change anything at all. It would just, you know, play whatever pattern it was on. But when we did the direct record and then we switched between the patterns, then it's just, as soon as you change the pattern, it goes in that same order. So with that, like, you could do it again, right? Like, then you can like add in some more stuff and, you know, really get crazy with it, and, you know, create that on pattern 3 and then hit mutate, and create that pattern 4 and hit mutate, and pattern 5 and hit mutate, and then pattern 6 and then hit mutate, and pattern 7 and hit mutate, and then pattern 8. And now you have all these different patterns, and we can just, for funsies, we can come up here and just do the same thing with this one. So we'll copy this to pattern 1, and then we'll hit mutate and copy the pattern 2, and then hit mutate and copy the pattern 3 and hit mutate and copy the pattern 4. And I think the pattern, that's the original. Okay. I wonder if we still have our mutate that I deleted. I probably deleted. I did delete it. Okay, so let's move this over here. This is playing a different pattern now. But the idea is not, for drums and for anything, I guess, for me, for pattern mutator, is not to just have a complete new pattern that you're just going to play straight. I think it works best when you do like I just did, like you do a direct record, and then from that direct recording, you can just switch between the patterns and give yourself some variation. So we go 1. And so that records in those different patterns. So now we have a totally different drum pattern that's based off of this first pattern that, you know, is pretty tame. But now you have all these other things, and you can just like use that to create more and more and more. And so the same thing up here up top with this original pattern that I've lost because I mutated it too many times. It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. I don't have it no more. Oh, is it that one? Oh, it was that one. Oh, sweet. So we still have that one. See what I mean? Like, you can switch between the patterns to create the melody or to create the different changes that you wanted to have. So if we do the same thing, like if we come up here to this one, and here's our bass pattern. So this sounds like some stuff Timbaland was making early back in the day. But you can switch between the patterns. So Yeah. Maybe let's just like do one thing at a time. So we're gonna start on 2. So I like 2 to 8. I like what was created from 2 to 8, which is like this pattern right here. This little pattern here. If we bypass this. Da-dum, dum, da-dum. Like that's a melody. Another thing is you can add things into your pattern. Oh, I talked about that already. Like if I'm playing this and then I go to play something, I can add something else into it. So if it's like, oh, there's a note missing there. All right, I just unlocked something new, y'all. Isn't that lovely when you just find something completely new and different? Oh man, isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Oh, I was supposed to do that. That's what I was supposed to do. Let me see. Clear this pattern real quick. Hit record. Okay. Oh, step record. And then rest. And rest. And rest. And rest. Okay, now let me hear. Let me see. Add one more in there. $16 is what we need. Okay, so I have this little melody or this little, thing that we just created in here, right here. These little chords. Yeah, I like how it just matches in with that other melody. It's that part right there. Dun, 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 dun. And then like that's the cool part. It's like that was created just using Pattern Mutator. That wasn't created from like me coming up with a melody. It was like, oh, we mutated it so many times until we got to that melody, you know what I'm saying? And depending on how you make music or what kind of music you're going for, then you can just, go crazy with that. I'm gonna get rid of them drums and I'm gonna just like find some drums that's like good. If we just gonna be real, we're just gonna be real and keep it real with ourselves. Okay, cool. Let's use that. So this is a drum loop from a drum pack I'm getting ready to also release. When using drums with the Pattern Mutator, are they routed out individually? Depends on what instrument you're using. So if I'm using Kong, then I can route these in the mixer. I can use these outputs to route them individually. Inside of Pattern Mutator, they're literally routed as just MIDI. So for example, this pattern that's here in Pattern Mutator, the pattern that's right here is also, seen right here. So here are all the different notes that make up the pattern that is inside of here. It will just appear as like this little green block, but each of those represent a different MIDI note. And the MIDI notes are lined up right here. So I think that's what the question you are asking in terms of are they routed out individually? So by mixer, you can route them out. By MIDI note, you can do it like that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay. that is still soloed. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's get rid of you. I'm just gonna get rid of you altogether. Let's make this guy longer. That's a lot, Chris. Let's just keep that simple. But yeah, from there, it's just kind of like, from there, I'm just going in here to make some. Yeah. Yeah, we probably would do something like that, wouldn't we? Add this guy. Hey, the Nick Eastlands. What's up, man? Just looking at Pattern Mutator right now. Okay, I'm gonna send this to track. I gotta mute this first. I'm gonna send this guy out to track. Let me see something. Did I need to press the other button first? No. Okay, so that's been sent to track. Let's turn these off. Okay, so then it didn't record how I wanted it to record. Let me see, go back, delete this. That's muted. So now we're gonna do send to track. I'll turn that on. Oh, that's what I was playing. Okay, send that to track. Just so I can. Is it sending it to track or not? It's on. Oh. Okay, now let's do it. Okay, I'm just trying to get those chords that I was playing earlier so I can get out of that be in here. Let's just turn this off. And yes, the answer to your question is yes. Let's go and let's create a pad. Let's go in here. Let's create a pad. I'll show you right now. You can create, oh man. Oh, you can I was trying to make sure I did the thing that I wanted to do. If I'm doing this send to track thing, it makes a bunch of noise, so I didn't want you guys to hear it. So but I got y'all. So are you able to draw a melody in the piano roll and then send it to Pattern Mutator? Yes. So say for example, I recorded this baseline melody right here, right? So we recorded that baseline melody right there. And so if we go to that device and I add in a Pattern Mutator, so now I have this Pattern Mutator here, and then I hit record. When I go to play this, it will record into Pattern Mutator. Now, of course, I need to increase the length of this so that it's long enough to record it. It starts at 32, 64 is 128. Okay, so let's clear pattern. So all we need to do to set that up, we add the Pattern Mutator, we hit record. And by the way, you can do that with all of the players as well. You can, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have this here. Let's just, you know, pretend I drew it in or whatever, you know, whatever you need to do. You drew in your melody here. I played it on my keyboard, but we have this melody here in the sequencer. When I go to the Pattern Mutator and I hit record, I can play my sequencer and it will record that pattern into the pattern of Pattern Mutator. All right, cool. So it recorded it in. Let me see. Okay, apparently it did not like my my playing. Let's do it. Let me see. Let's see real quick. Let's clear it. And we'll fix these notes real quick and then we'll do it again. Now, I did say one limitation of Pattern Mutator is kind of quantized, you know, limited. So it's not going to play it in exactly how it appears, but we have this here. Okay, we have this melody here, and we're going to hit record, and we're going to play that into our Pattern Mutator. Hey, what's up, Chris Mills? Good to see you, man. Welcome. So now we have that, we can play it in Pattern Mutator. Cool. So we have that in there. As far as like creating the different, let's see, they have some stuff. If I do that, will it change my pattern? It will change my pattern. Okay. So it's just like patterns that they've recorded in. I thought it would have like settings for your swap that you could just use instead of, you know, using that, but we'll just go back to our original. So let's just turn the swap all the way up and hit mute. So now I see what swap is doing. So swap is just, it's the same pattern, but it moved the notes around. So it's like, instead of that note being there, it moved that one there and it moved this one here. So it just swapped the notes around when we did swap. Okay, so that's what swap did or does. Okay, so now we saw what swap does. Density should add more notes. So we can hear that added more notes. So you can add more notes. Okay, so let's say if we wanted to just have let me see, note length, not really velocity for this. I wouldn't change velocity for this bass pattern. It's pretty much where I would want it to be, but I could do some swapping. We could do a little bit of swapping, maybe a little bit of density, and maybe that could like be a different version. And then if we hit mutate, we can play that. And then what I could do is copy that to another pattern. So pattern 2, and then here, because I added more notes, then I can just slow the rate down. So, and by slowing the rate down, even though I have more notes, now it's like at a similar melody or a similar, rhythm than what I had at first. And I could hear that being like, in comparison to this, the original. No, you did not just change my whole thing. Oh, why is it doing that? Oh, because this is playing. Okay, move. Okay, that's another thing I wanted to look at too, but we're gonna get to that. So now we have that. Okay, and then we have this, which could be like a breakdown section, a bridge, or, something else. Or even like right there where it did that little part. Okay, go here. Yeah, like that is something right there. We're gonna drop the length down a lot, so it's just like just those parts. And then I just wanted to just loop that part. So, for something like that, I would have to send it to track. Because I just want just that part. Now y'all heard the little noise I was trying to keep y'all from hearing. And then silence is what I want. And then I just want that to loop. Boom. And now we come back to our original part. So like that becomes like a second part, right? That you could use. I don't know if you wanted to do it for like I said, that probably would like that feels like a bridge, not like, I wouldn't go from like that to like verse. It wouldn't be like this bass melody to like a verse. Oh, oh, my OBS is tripping, y'all. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I don't know if y'all saw that. It was tripping. It even says it on my screen. OBS reconnecting. Okay, sorry about that. I'm gonna start over. We have our melody here. Here's our melody. If I go to key mode, when I press a key on my keyboard, it'll play it for that key. And so like that becomes another way that you can use pattern mutator. For whatever pattern you have, yes, I will explain it again because I probably did a really bad job. So let's start from the beginning. Pattern mutator has a really cool feature in where if you change from the sequencer mode into the key mode, you can then use a key on your keyboard or the piano roll to play the pattern that exists inside of pattern mutator. So let's say, for example, we have this pattern right here. And that's our pattern. If we go to our piano roll and we play C, for example, we should hear that same pattern. If I play it on my keyboard, I'll hear the same thing. What's cool about it is, let's say we're going to create our song. When we're using it in key mode, then that means we can change from pitch to pitch and get a different melody or get a movement of that melody. So here's the original melody. And I'm just playing it over and over and over again. Or even if I wanted to draw that out, I can show you what it looks like. If I draw it out, it just would be this over and over again. Boom. Boom. I'll go to do the thing and then it doesn't do the thing. Okay, for sure. So you can hear that as we play it, it's just playing the pattern over and over again from that point. So what I was doing was I was moving, instead of having it being on the same, we just moved it to different pitches. So for example, let's do like this, and now we can hear. And so now we have that same melody, but it's moving around in different positions. You even could just go a little further with that. Let's shorten that, make that faster. Yes, that's the word, transposing. It will transpose the melody from pattern mutator. So it's transposing the melody same way that it does with like baseline generator, chord sequencer, but I just hadn't noticed that you could also do that in pattern mutator. So they do have a key mode that will allow you to transpose the pattern as well. Thank you, Chris. That helps a lot to actually use terms that you're supposed to use. Appreciate you. I was so excited in how it sounded. I was like, I just like the way it sounds, you know what I'm saying? So then, of course, you know, if you have that, it's playing that. I wonder. Let's see if we can get crazy real quick. Pull that up and then you can. Beautiful. So you can use two pattern mutators to record that transposing melody, and now you have that transposing melody as a melody by itself. Can you transpose the transpose of the transpose? It just added a few more notes in there when we transpose the transpose of the transpose. Put this one on sequencer. And then remember that it all comes together because we also have this scales and chord, because we turned that off. Now it sounds totally different. So it does make a difference. What if we turn our chords back on? Now I'm getting sounds I never heard before. So that is a pattern mutator playing the pattern that we had up here. Of course, now it's playing everything. Playing that from what we had to give us this. So now I guess, you know, the next thing to do is to do some swaps and some densities, right? And mutate that guy. If you don't put that to a pattern, I'm taking it. Mutate it again. What it sound like now? Put that over there too. Absolutely, Chris Mills. What is the automation trick that you are suggesting? That's what we're here for, man. It's a community. We all working and learning together. I would very, very gladly appreciate if you'd shared that trick with us so that we can add that in. I'm learning tons. I'm learning tons about Pattern Mutator. I told y'all, I mean, the title of this video is Pattern Mutator is Underrated. And even after I found some of the little hacks and tricks that I found about Pattern Mutator, I'm still finding more as this video is going on. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, you know, all of the players, I mean, we just got to give a round of applause to Reason for the players. And players is not like anything completely new, but they keep adding new players. But players not like, I just wonder if they've really explored the fullness of these players, and if they have, like, show us. Like, I want to see a combinator with 3 pattern mutators playing off of each other and what that does. Or, like, you know, like, I don't see anything like that, like where there's like a combinator of players, and when you add that combinator of players, it just like plays a bunch of stuff and like whatever, you know, as you transpose, it changes the chord and changes the this, and like, yeah, that could be cool. Okay, so if you wanted to run some quick automation on your course, for instance, I learned a thing about creating automation lanes last week. Okay, break it down for us, what you're talking about automation lanes. Control pencil drawing in the automation lane creates stepped segments. Control pencil. Stepped segments. Okay, keep going. I'm not 100% sure where you're going. Snap length. So get what would I automate what would I automate in this situation? And are you referring to scales and chords or pattern mutator? Just keep going, keep breaking it down for me so I can get the whole rundown. And I'm gonna just keep playing with these pattern mutators. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Go over here, put that to pattern 5, and then drop that one down. Drop it down to 12 steps. I just want to... Is it possible to draw in your own patterns or import MIDI files? Yes, Vita, it is possible to do that very thing that you have just suggested. That's what we have done earlier. I'll show you the steps to do that one more time. So for example, here we have a pattern. So let's say we have this MIDI right here. Let's, we played it in, we drew it in, we, exported it, or we imported it in, right? We imported the MIDI. We have the MIDI in the sequencer of Reason. So it's there in the sequencer. We can play it. So that's what that sounds like. I'll solo it just so you can hear it by itself. Here's that. So there is our melody from this instrument here, and we added a pattern mutator to it. So let's just go to an empty pattern. We go to this empty pattern. We're just going to set it to 128 steps so that we got a full amount of steps that we can do. We hit record, and then when we hit record, we can press play on our sequencer. And as you can see, it will play in those MIDI notes. So the MIDI notes it's drawing in are coming from this. So it just played that in. So I can also move this around so that it starts at the beginning right there. And then we're going to check out what Chris Mills was saying. So now that's in there. And if I want to hit mutate, then I can mutate it. If I want something to sound not as different, maybe just more notes or something, then I can, change it differently. Maybe not as dense, Maybe a little more dense. So it's just like, it can be done, what you would do with it. It just depends. You can use this pitch up here. Like say we just wanted to change some of the pitch, of those notes. We could do that, mutate that. but that's just going by octave basically. But if we mutate it again, so it's just by octave, you know. So it just changes it just a little bit, right? So that's some ways that you could change it if you wanted to do it by octave. Let me see, let's go back here. So yes, you can import MIDI into Pattern Mutator to create that pattern that you want it to be. So I used it for drums. And you can do that. Now, I'll make a quick video for you later tonight and share it with you. Please do, because the instructions, I'm gonna go through them now. Okay, so I'm going to go through this situation right here. Chris Mills says, come on, pull up. Can you explain? Oh no, I did that already. Okay, cool. Wait. Go. Okay, go. Okay. Can I suggest an automation trick? Of course you can. Yes, you can. I learned a thing about creating automation lanes last week. Control pencil drawing in the automation lane creates stepped segments that are based off snap length. Let's go into scales and chords and say we want to create some quick inversion automations. Got you. So if we go up here into our steps and chords and we click edit automation on inversion, here's our automation, if you will. And I'm creating an automation. I'm trying to see. That's the first step. So we have an automation for our inversion. We can see as we unsolo this guy, as we do that, as we move around, we can see that the inversion is indeed changing. Drawing a stepped curve previously would have spent time. Now I control pencil or control alt to switch into segment drawing and an automation lane. Segment drawing. Trying to see what's the difference between. I don't know if it's doing anything different for me. I'm in my pencil. Let's see. I'm going to go to this, like I'm drawing in automation for it. I'll go to my pencil. Here I am drawing in on my pencil. I'm just using the mouse. Okay, now I'm going to hold control. Okay. Let's see. Let's put this to something crazy. Okay. Trying to see if there's a difference when I'm holding control and not holding control. Boom. Let me see something. Inversions may not be the best option, as I think those default to stepped. Oh, okay. So it's doing the stepped thing that you're talking about. So let's go to something that can open up a little bit more. Like, say, for example, this something in object, for example. Let's say we do this dispersion frequency. And we go here, we'll draw in our automation, and normally, well, okay, so normally it's doing this, like I can hold and get that automation, right? I can create a point, create a point, create a point, create a point. Okay. If I get my pencil and I hold, if I get my, okay, don't get your pencil. If I get my pencil and I hold control, oh, very nice. Ooh. Man, you learn something every day. Yes. Yes, Chris. Now that's dope. Okay, now we gotta break that. We gotta break that down. Chris, if you don't make your video before me, mine is already up. I beat you to the punch. Okay, so let's restart this whole automation situation. Normally, when you do automation, if I wanted to create an automation where it's like, oh, it's off and then on and off and then on, but I want it to be squared like this, I would have to like do like this and just like keep like creating, and like that just takes a lot of time. Instead of doing that, I can get my pencil tool and hold control. When I go to make my points, it will create the 2 points for me. And if I do another one, then I can have wait, no, come back. So you can create that, and then you can create steps. So now we have step up and step down and step up and step down to create it. Put some steps in a ramp. And yeah, you can do that. And it's based on, did you say it's based on your snap value? I think he said. So if I do like this, oh, this is much faster, honestly, to tell you the truth. Oh, that's really quick, actually. So there you go. You can create an automation. So if I create this automation and I use the shortcut of holding Alt to bring up my pencil, but if I do Alt plus Control, then you just create those points, and now you can create those points like that, much easier. Okay, cool. Thank you, Chris. That indeed was a neat automation trick there. Appreciate that. All right, so man, we done got a little bit of everything today, guys. So we got a little bit of automation, we got a little bit of this player situation. Okay, I got a lot of stuff going on because a lot of players are being used at the same time. So we're gonna come up here, we're gonna turn these guys off. There we go. Chris, I appreciate you for coming through, dropping that, man. Take care. We'll see you later. Go, you know what I'm saying? Go record that video. Show us how you can implement that a lot better. I think I butchered it, but I appreciate you for sharing the information, man. Good stuff. That's a different vibe. That's a different vibe. That's a different vibe. Let's add in some stuff. We're just gonna keep adding in a bunch of instruments. Go parsec. Okay, so we added that little melody in there, but we're gonna change that so that it's not that. Flux. Okay, cool. something else. How about a little echo? Why can't I find the echo? The echo. Where's my loop? Give me my loop back. Oh, I like it. I like it. Nice. What if we just move that there? I like that better. I like that better. And then with the, so now it's like call response. What if we go a little bit faster? Too fast. Keep it at 120. Okay, let's bring in some more instruments, man. Give me this mini V3 real quick. So I got a lot of plucks happening. I got a lot of things going back and forth. So I don't want to add any more plucks because we got a lot of pluck and bail. We got the call and response between the pluck and bail happening. So that's good to go. We don't need to add more of that because that's already where it needs to be. So we don't need to add any more of that. But instead, what we could do is, I just want to make sure I got that here. Let's add in something more like, yeah, something more sustained since we already got a whole lot of pluck and bail happening. And then, so I don't have to figure out, well, let me just see. It's C minor pentatonic. So C, okay, so it took out the D and it took out the, what notes are these? C is lit up, E flat is lit up, F, G, and B. So that's the pentatonic of C minor. So it's just C minor, but it's playing the pentatonic of C minor. Okay, for sure. So just the main 5 notes without those notes that can get sticky, icky sometimes, those middle notes. So we're just gonna find a little lead up in here, and we'll play that pentatonic. Maybe I want to add that in there though. It's a little ear candy, it's a little ear candy-ish. Just kind of something to add in. Kind of like that. Playing a whole nother part of the beat. All right, here we go. Okay, getting a little crazy, but yes, something of that nature. Something of that nature. maybe not that nature, but something of that nature. That thing is sound. That's an interesting sound. So this is a part where like I stop listening to what's actually happening and like what else is happening in the beat, and I'm just like enjoying the sound. I just like the way it sounds. But instead of doing that, let's listen to what the beat needs or what is happening. We have a main melody. Call and response. We doubled up on the first part of the call and response with a pluck. We added a little bit of echo in there to just give it a little something. Maybe you also add in a little bit of reverb just to, you know, make it a little more distant. We have our bass line. Ben Bomi, I'll see you later, man. I'm having the strangest case of deja vu, but you know, maybe that's, I don't know, just me tripping. Appreciate you, my brother. Have a good night, man. Take care. Better go answer that call, the missus. All right, for sure. So that's what we have. We have this little percussion here too as well. Just giving us a little something a little extra. And then we have our main drum. I don't think it will work, but I like it. And because I like it, I'm gonna save it as something, right? So this is called Conversation from Mini V from Analog Lab. I'm writing in the studio as I tune in. What are you writing? What are you writing and writing for? Like writing for and writing for what? Catchy Noise. Oh, by the way, in case you guys are watching and paying attention, I have not saved this project yet. I thought you said writing, wiring. Okay, so that way that melody is not conflicting with the other ones. It kind of has some parts where they all like come together a little bit. Because they were all ending there on that section right there. So cool. I feel like it might need some piano. Let's take this one out real quick. Let me see. Take these out. Take this one out real quick and then do the piano. Okay, so it's not that, so it is this. Okay, take this out real quick and then just do the piano. I don't want that piano though. Control B. Give me a different piano. Reason is tripping. Add that in there. What is you doing? Add this pattern sequencer to this pattern. We're going to record that pattern after we do some quantizing into this guy here. Let me see. Not that quantizing. Much. Well, don't delete it. Use it for something else. I'm finna delete it and then it's gonna be gone forever. That's cool. Let's just try for a different path. Instead of that, what if we did this one? What if we did this one? never understood why there's not a 5-string bass. There's not one for. See, this is something is doing this. No, it's that's something is, but that shouldn't be a problem. That should not be a problem that I should have to deal with. That should not be a problem. Keep the bass simple when the piano's going crazy. And then the piano will replay the favor when it's time for it. And this harp should not play the same. The harp should not play the same thing. It should go. too clean. Now it's too dirty. Give me something. Give me something. Gotta get it just right, man. It's still not just right. Let's add this real quick. I think there's like a little, yeah. A sharp. Ugh. Turn it down some. And bring it in over here. Mm-mm. sometimes simpler is better. Bow, bow. I think I'm gonna take that one out. catch you noise. I'm gonna catch you later, man. But I'm gonna call you for sure, man. I'll talk to you later, man. I appreciate you for coming through, big bro. Actually, speaking of which, let's shout outs to y'all for putting up with my guitar playing and things of that nature. And also just hanging out with your boy on the stream. So earlier I was talking about some stuff I was supposed to announce. I don't know, supposed to announce or should announce or could announce or would announce or I don't know, however you're supposed to put it, but I gotta get ready to head out of here as well. But wanted to say thank you to all those that have been a part of the journey and all those who have been a part of, you know, what we doing here on YouTube. Just recently this month, well, I guess I can rewind just a little bit. I'm paying attention. I'm not going to divert. Earlier this year, I set a goal for us to hit a certain number. And I was like, oh, we'll probably get there like December or something like that. But then I started noticing like pretty much every month, pretty much week to week, we was like passing that goal. Like we was like, oh, we gonna hit that goal before the end of the year. And I had some different things and thoughts about videos and stuff that we could do to get to the number. And you guys just blew me away. You guys just we hit the number 6 months ahead of schedule, or you know, 5, how many ever, if I could count. But nonetheless, we had set a goal for 5,000 subscribers for this channel, and we hit that goal just earlier this week. We hit that goal of 5,000 subscribers. So I'm very excited and appreciative for that. Subscribers mean different things for different people on YouTube. For me, it means that there are people that have watched something that I've created, a tutorial, a beat cook-up, an interview, you know, a blog, vlog, whatever I watched, it made them say, hey, I want to be around for the next time he makes something. Hey, I got you. No, I'm finna give you that link. I'm finna text you that link. I got you. That's nothing. I had put it out for the membership, you know what I'm saying? And then I was like, oh, once I get to a certain spot, I'm gonna put it out for everybody. So definitely got to get you that. But we hit the 5,000 subscribers, and I was just like, I'm just excited. I appreciate it for real. Like when I was having conversations about YouTube in the past, before I really started making videos and stuff like that, like the conversation was like, you'll never get there. Like the conversation really was like, you won't get to 1,000 subscribers. Of course, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours, that's for monetization. And the conversation was kind of like, you're not gonna get there. You're not even gonna get to 5,000. You're not gonna get to, you know, that number, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours. Like that's not even gonna happen. And that pretty much happened within the year that I started really taking the channel seriously. And of course, because of the support from Reasonstudios and the support from you guys, we ballooned even further past that monetization point. And like the first 1,000, like if the first 1,000 was hard to get, like the second 1,000 to get to 2,000 subscribers was not tough at all. That was even easier, going from 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers. And then we kind of slowed down a little bit, and which I kind of figured would happen. But right now we're sitting at 5,000 subscribers. And like I said, the conversations with the people that I was having when I was talking about it and thinking about it and planning it, like the conversations that we was having was like, that's not gonna happen. So I am excited to see that we have went above and beyond what that conversation would have put me at. That conversation would have put me at a hobbyist that, you know, didn't go anywhere, didn't do anything or made any money with YouTube. And right now that is just not the case. That's not the case by a long shot. God has been good. I've been blessed to, meet some really cool people and have some really cool experiences because of this YouTube channel. The live streams that we do, the beat cookups that we do, the tutorials that we do, helping people out, answering questions, showing you guys Reason just a little closer than maybe what you have, been experiencing it, where you had been experiencing it, just showing you a little bit closer underneath the hood of Reason. The reception has been people who have been appreciating the channel. So, I think that we can just go, from here. We're going to go stronger. We're going to go harder. We're just going to keep pushing. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing, but we're going to be doing some more things. We're going to be adding some more things so that, we can reach as many people as possible. So always about music, always about the art, always about, the craft, always about these blessings, always about Reason. But we will be, just doing as much as we can to continue the growth, man, and just understand and just know that I'm humbled. I will continue to be humbled by, the response, the reaction. We get so many comments. I always say we, but I just want you to understand why I say we whenever I'm talking about this channel. Like, there are other YouTubers that have like a team of people that, create the videos. It's like, 4 or 5 people, somebody doing thumbnails, somebody writing, you got a cameraman, an audio man, and then you have the actual person that's, doing the actual YouTube. When I say we, that's not what I mean. I don't mean like it's a team. It's just me. It's me doing the YouTube, it's not like I have a team behind me. But when I say we, I mean we, meaning you, the viewer, the watcher, the participant, the avid reader, the person that is connecting with this live stream, with these videos, and with me, your boy Chris Reed. You and I, that's the we that I'm talking about when I talk about this channel and I say we have come this far. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about me and the community, and that's exactly what I wanted this to be: a community, a place people can come together to get their questions answered about Reason, to learn more about Reason, to learn more about music production, to share their knowledge with each other, to be an open platform and an open forum for those people that love music like I love music, to experience music together. That's what I mean when I say we. So we have taken this channel this far. I don't say it, blanketly or empty. It's not empty words when I say that it's us that's doing it together. I don't say it's like like people say, oh, I'm nothing without the fans. It's not even fans. It's a community. We're building this thing together. So you guys have ideas, I implement them. When you have questions about videos, I make them. I try to make them as much as I can. When you guys want certain tutorials, I do those tutorials. We talk back and forth in these live streams. You have ideas, we implement them. It's a community. We work together, and I have been appreciating that all the way through, and that's how I want it to be. That's how I started, and that's how it's going to end. So with that, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for rocking with me, man, and supporting the channel. Many people support the channel in many different ways, and I appreciate y'all. We have some members, people who have joined the membership. The membership is open for you if you want to support the channel and help us keep going, to go from 5,000 to 10,000 and so on and so forth. The membership definitely helps that, for us to be able to do that. It's $5 a month, and that gets you some exclusive content, exclusive live streams, as well as some exclusive downloads. So recently we did Read Keys 5, which is a collection of loops and sound. It's like a sound pack. It's a collection of loops, and I gave that to our membership. So they've already had that sound pack, and I try to give something monthly to the membership. So I try to give something monthly to the membership so that they can have that value that they find there. But I believe that the members are there because they're there to support, you know, not only just get the exclusive or free stuff, but it's like, it's a real support. I could be wrong. They could just be looking for more of the things that I offer. And if that's the case, please, y'all let me know. If y'all still watching, or if y'all watch the replay and y'all get to this point, y'all let me know. But it has been exciting to be able to do that as well. So with that, the other announcement is I'm going to be doing a beat showcase with Curtis King, and I'm gonna tell y'all the 100% truth. This is the 100% truth. I'm nervous. I'm scared a little bit. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what's gonna come of it. I got a DM from my brother one day, and he just asked me, you know, like, would I be down for something like that? And I'm like, bro, I'm down. And the next thing I know, my name is on a flyer for this event. So that is exciting as well. And so Beat Showcase, I gotta talk to him actually. That's kind of not good on my part. Like, so I, you know, ask you to do something, you're like, yeah, I want to do it, and it's like, all right, cool, you on to do it, and then now it's like, all right, what's the thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's on my part. Still down to do it, but it's just like, I gotta get more information to actually know what it is. And so in that way, I'm just a goofy happy go lucky kind of guy. If y'all didn't know it, man, I'm blessed by the best, and so that's why I do the things I do. But let me see if there's a way I can show this. I think this is up. This is the flyer. Says the happiness pursuit, and it's featuring all these amazing artists, and right here you can see producer showcase presented by Curtis King featuring Oh Gosh Leotis. I mean, hold on, let's just take a moment to just stop right there. To have my name on the same line as Oh Gosh Leotis is kind of wild. That's like real wild. Like, what is that? Like, what? But Oh Gosh Leotis, Sky Hutch, Python P, Jamani, no disrespect, I just have not seen those names before, so I'm not 100% familiar with them. But I definitely know Oh Gosh Leotis, and Oh Gosh Leotis is a beast. So kind of crazy, but right there, Chris Reed, that's me. So I'm excited for that, man. That's gonna be October 7th in Ontario, California. I gotta hit my guy up and actually get some information and talk to him. And what is it? What do you want me to do? I don't know. Somebody asked me the other day. They was like, "Are you performing? Are you?" I don't even know. I 100% don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna be on stage, or maybe I'll just be on the side. I don't know. Let me just stop talking. If you don't know, you don't know. I'm gonna have to hit him up and get the full details to that. But even just having that flyer and seeing that there, like, oh, that's really dope. And so I'm humbled once again and just appreciative to have that opportunity as well, man. And so just shout outs to Curtis King. Shout outs to Curtis King. I appreciate you, my brother, for that opportunity. And we'll just, you know, I gotta hit you up and see, you know, what exactly it is. There was one other thing, of course, my mind and my brain, I'm not going to be able to remember it, what it was. We talked about the channel hitting 5,000. We talked about the read keys for the membership. If you have a membership, you get those downloads for free. If you join the membership, you get them for free. So I dropped those read keys on there. We talked about this opportunity with Curtis King at this Ontario show, Happiness Pursuit. And so it was something. I'm trying to see if I can remember what else it was, but I don't think I'm going to be able to remember what else it was. So with that being said, I actually got to check out. I was planning on being here for a few more minutes, but it's time that I check out and get up out of here, man. I appreciate you guys for watching the stream. I hope that you saw some of the gems and some of the things that we did with Pattern Mutator. We unlocked it and unleashed it live here on the live stream, going over the features, going over the different things that you can do with Pattern Mutator. What's its pros, what's its cons, what is it really good at, what is it a little, you know, shaky at, the reason why it's underrated. And, you know, sometimes it just can kind of be a little hard to use, kind of hard to figure out, but take your time and look at it and you'll get it. That was definitely the word of the day, was patience, not only with Pattern Mutator, but just with everything in life. Patience with your music, patience with your craft, patience with your career, things to get there exactly where it's supposed to be. I heard when you have patience and you can wait, then you have confidence. If you have no patience, then what you're saying is you're fearful or timid and you're just going to hop at the first thing. But when you're confident, then you can have patience, because it's like whenever it comes and however it comes, I'm going to be ready for it either way. So I don't have to take the first deal that I get. I don't have to take the first placement that comes. That's confidence. Not saying I'm quite there yet, but maybe if I build up this patience, then that'll help to build up the confidence. Okay. And it was another word that I think it was patience and confidence. But anyway, that was the word of the day, patience. As we grow in our patience, as we get more confident in ourselves, we don't have to jump at the first opportunity that presents itself in terms of a deal or a placement or even just making music. Like, it's like, just slow down and just you'll get there, you know, you'll get there, right? Like with the beat we was working on tonight, like if I had just rushed through this thing, I would not have even grabbed my guitar. I just would have left the guitar over there and I wouldn't have added the different sections that I added. It would have just been the first section that I started. But because of patience, I was like, well, let's just keep fleshing this thing out. Let's just keep working on it. And I like where we ended up. I like the guitar. I like this section. I like that section more than I like what I started with. I think, you know what I'm saying, both are cool, but I do like the guitar section even better. So patience is important. I was trying to see if my brain was going to let me think of the other thing that I was supposed to be talking about, because I said there was like 3 or 4 things I was supposed to be bringing up, but it's not coming. I appreciate you guys. Shout outs to all of you.
You have now completed this lesson.
And with that being said, until next time, my name is Chris Reed. Until next time, peace. I'll catch y'all later, man.